الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى.
الحمد لله نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها النبي قل لأزواجك إن كنتن تردن الحياة الدنيا وزينتها فتعالين أمتعكن وأسرحكن سراحا جميلا وإن كنتن تردن الله ورسوله والدار الآخرة فإن أعد للمحسنات منكن أجرا عظيما. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني عملا رب زدني عملا رب زدني عملا. My dear respected elders and brothers and sisters who listen to my speech, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I started my speech about 2 weeks ago on sustenance and rizq. And the reason why I started this topic is that in our community and all of us are struggling regarding, majority of us are struggling regarding sustenance and rizq. And sometimes we forget that having all the booties and all the favors doesn't mean that we are favored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes if we are going through a struggle and it looks like that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not happy with us, but in reality Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy from us. Last week I gave an example from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam hadith, how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gain his income, and where did the income of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam come from? Today I like to explain an event, a story from Bukhari. What happened? Why did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam do the ilah? Ilah means swearing and making a qasam. And ilah really means that doing a qasam that I'm not going to go near by my wives. Sometimes that's done for 1 month, sometimes it's done for 4 months. I don't want to go in the detail of ilah, but I want to say that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made a qasam that for 1 month I'm not going to go near by my wives. मैं अपने मस्तूरात अज़वाज मुतहरात के करीब नहीं जाऊंगा 1 महीने के लिए. ये कसम उठा ली रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम. Why did he do that? So let's go back a bit back. Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu says, once I had an argument with my wife, meaning I was telling her off on something, and she responded to me. उसने वापस ही जवाब दे दिया. She responded to me. So I got astonished and surprised that how can a wife respond to her husband? She argued back. She realized that I'm astonished and surprised. She said to me, that why are you astonished? Why are you surprised? ये कोई अनोखी बात तो नहीं. If you are astonished and surprised, the Azwaji Mutahharat, the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do the same. Sometimes when there's a bitter argument going on, they sometimes get upset from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They don't talk for one day to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Is that true?" And one of the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is my daughter Hafsa. I need to go back and explain to her that she shouldn't do anything like that. She should never get upset from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and respect Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu went by Hafsa radiallahu ta'ala anhu and said to Hafsa, I've heard today that you guys sometimes have a bitter time with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and you get unhappy and stop talking to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for a few hours. Don't do that. Don't look at the other wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They got naz, they got special relationship with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They can do it like Aisha radiallahu ta'ala. You don't do it. If you have any problem, anything, come by me, I will help you. But don't ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't upset Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Otherwise, azab will come. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala said this, came back home. He had a neighbor, next door neighbor to Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala. So what they done, they made an agreement that one day you will go in the majlis of Rasulullah, for the daras of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whatever you learn, you come back and you teach me. One day I will go, whatever I learn, I will come back and teach you. So they made numbers. One day Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala used to go to the majlis of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and learn whatever he could learn and come back to his neighbor and teach him. Another day, the neighbor used to go. One day, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala did not go that day. That day his neighbor went to the daras of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He comes back and he says, there's a huge azab coming. Something's happening. It's a huge event. So Hazrat Umar said, is Ghassan coming? Ghassan means are the Romans attacking us? There was a theory going on, propaganda going on, the Romans will attack Madinatul Munawwara. So Hazrat Umar said, are they ready to attack? Are they attacking Medina? He said, no, something else has happened. Even worse. Hazrat Umar said, wow. The neighbor said to Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, no, that we heard that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have given talaq to his wives. He has given divorce to his wife. All his wives. All 9 of them. Hazrat Umar said, I told Hafsa to control her tongue and respect Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I was scared of this. He just goes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam straight away. He goes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why did this propaganda go around that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam given talaq? What really happened is that the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam seeing that now there's wealth coming into Madinatul Munawwara, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got wealth by him. So they went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam one by one, every one of them. They had a meeting between themselves, and every one of them, whenever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to visit them, they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, could you increase our nafaqah? You know, the wealth you give us, the money you give us, the kharcha you give us, could you increase that so we can have more? And because, the Romans and the other superpowers, their wives are in luxury, we can have a luxury life and give in sadaqah. The main reason why they were asking for more wealth is not focusing on the luxury or the comfort. They wanted to give more in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, more sadaqah in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam heard this, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got upset. And for 1 month he made the ilah, he made the qasam that I'm not going to go near my wives, I'm not going to visit them. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the upstairs flat, Balakhana. He stayed there and said, no one come by me, I'm upset now. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala heard all this. He came running to by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, read salat behind Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He read Fajr salat behind Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After reading Fajr salat behind Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went back to his upstairs flat. He went, and Bilal radiallahu ta'ala was sitting outside as a security guard. He wasn't letting anyone to enter by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, the rule was alright, Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu ta'ala could enter Rasulullah without any permission, anytime they want to. That's how they close to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But Bilal is sitting there and saying, no, you cannot enter, Ya Umar. Umar radiallahu ta'ala says, could you ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he can grant me permission? He said, yes, I will go. He went inside and asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, could Umar come inside? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no. He comes back and says to Umar, you're not allowed. Umar radiallahu ta'ala goes back to the masjid and starts his zikr askar after Fajr. Still, he couldn't resist, he comes again. He says to Bilal, ask Rasulullah, said, can I come inside? Grant me permission. He said, he went inside. Hazrat Bilal comes outside and says, Rasulullah said, no. He went back to masjid and he couldn't sit. Come back again. He said, Bilal, ask again. Maybe Rasulullah will grant me permission. He went inside and came outside. And just what he said, no, Rasulullah called from outside, from inside, and said, tell Umar to come inside. Bilal runs to Hazrat Umar and says, Rasulullah is calling you. He comes inside. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala comes inside by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And now he sees that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is very upset and sad. The first thing he asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, have you given talaq, divorce to your wives? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no. And basically Rasulullah explained the situation that they asked for more wealth, more pocket money. And I got upset on this because the wives of Rasulullah should have that mentality, even though their intention was to give for sadaqah. So Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala looked at the situation and wanted to channel the anger and the sadness of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, dil behlani ke liye, to make Rasulullah happy. He said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when we were in Makkah, so they're all from Makkah, when we were in Makkah, we had controlled on our wives. The wife couldn't do kish, couldn't say anything. We come to Medina, the Ansars are soft with their wife. Our wives, our ladies are got soft. They learn from the Ansar. Now they got encouragement and they are bitter with us too sometimes. Rasulullah smiles with that. He very happy. Hazrat Umar said that because of the Ansars, they're soft with their wives and they take advantage of their husband. Our ladies are now taking advantage because of the Ansar. यानी अंसार लोग सहाबा जो थे वो नरम थे बीवी के साथ, तो वो जो है ना वो गलत फायदा उससे उठाते, और मुहाजिरीन सख्त थे, कंट्रोल थी उनकी, लेकिन यहाँ पर आकर वो भी नरम हो गए क्योंकि उन्होंने आदाब जो ले ली उससे. Anyway, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala made Rasulullah laugh, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke to him, and Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala says that I looked around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the only thing I see, only a few things that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has got in the house. In the whole house, he's got a few leather things, a pot of leather, leather made pot, and what you call a pillow made from leather, and the mat that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sleeping on. When I looked at that, that is made from palm tree leaves. And when I looked at the back of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that mat had made traces on the back of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That has made marks on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then I said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, that you are Imamul Anbiya and you have got that rank. Why didn't you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us extra wealth and at least you can sleep on a soft bed, soft mattress? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Umar, you, a person like you, are asking wealth? We got nothing to do with wealth. I got no connection with wealth. I don't want wealth. I rather sleep hungry than having wealth. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spent 29 days. The month finished in 29 days. After 29 days, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came down from the flood and called his wives. First, he calls Aisha radiallahu ta'ala. And he says to Aisha, فَقَالَتْ لَهُ Aisha, Ya Rasul, إنك كنت قد أقسمت ألا تدخل علينا شهرا وإنما أصبحت من 29 ليلة أعدها عدا فقال الشهر 29 فكان ذلك الشهر 29 ليلة. First Aisha radiallahu ta'ala says to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Ya Rasulullah, you made a qasam that you're not going to come down until the whole month finish. And it's only been 29 days. There's one more day left. So she's reminding Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that your qasam is not fulfilled yet. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the first thing is that sometime a month is 29 days. So this month was 29 days, that's why I come down. So I have not broken my qasam. The second thing is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها النبي قل لأزواجك إن كنتن تردن الحياة الدنيا وزينتها فتعالين أمتعكن وأسرحكن سراحا جميلا وإن كنتن تردن الله ورسوله والدار الآخرة فإن الله أعد للمحسنات منكن أجرا عظيما. He says to Aisha radiallahu ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent these verses and is asking you guys, you my wives, that if you want wealthy life, then I have to leave you in a nice manner. I'll give you talaq. But if you want me and you want to live with me, then however you are living in poorness, you have to carry on with that. Then Hazrat Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said to Aisha radiallahu ta'ala that whatever I said now, I don't want you to be hasty. Don't reply to me straight away. Go to your parents and ask your parents for consultation. Because Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha was young. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the fear that maybe she was saying out of youngness, out of her age, that I want wealth, I do not want to live with you. And Nabi Aisha radiallahu ta'ala said that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam knew that my parents would never give me permission of leaving Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asking Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to leave me. So she said, no. Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Afika astashiru abawayya ya Rasulullah. Do I have to take consultation from my parents regarding you, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Bal akhtaru Allah wa Rasulah. No, I want you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do not want wealth. Then she said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she said, wa as'aluka alla tukhbira imra'atan min nisa'ika billadhi qultu qala la tas'alni imra'atun minhunna illa akhbartuha. Then she said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, alright ya Rasulullah, I want to put a deal in front of you. The deal is that I said that I do not want wealth. But make sure, could you not tell the other wives when you ask them that I incline to you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I do not want one. And I said, no, I don't want the talaq. Don't tell them. At least one or two will get less. That was in the mind. Rasulullah said, I will not tell them myself, but if they ask me what your answer was, I have to tell them. She said, okay then. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that I went by, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala says that Rasulullah went by the other wives, and every single one of them said, what was the reply of Aisha? And then Rasulullah said that Aisha radiallahu ta'ala replied that I do not know wealth, I want you, Ya Rasulullah. So all the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that we want you, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, not the wealth. Ya ayyuhan nabi qul li azwajika. So what did the lesson from this, what I'm trying to say from the last few weeks is, the lesson from this is, Ya ayyuhan nabi qul li azwajika. They wanted extra wealth, not because they wanted the comfort, the luxury. They wanted the extra wealth to give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not like this. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made an ilah for 1 month, a qasam, that I'm not going to go near by my wives, alright, until they control themselves. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this ayat, Ya ayyuhan nabi qul li azwajika in kuntunna turidna al-hayat ad-dunya, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went by every single wife and asked them, what do you prefer? You want me or the wealth? Every single one of them said, we do not want the wealth, we want you, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the lesson is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted and preferred being poor. Why? It did not incline towards sustenance, having extra sustenance. Why? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew that we have to answer for this. You know, you read du'as that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made a dua, Ya Allah, keep me a faqir. I want to be risen up with what? Fuqara, poor people. Why did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew that they would not be questioned, they will be questioned less on the day of judgment. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith that whenever you look at your worldly situation, your wealthy situation, always look at those people who are degraded, lower level than you. Look at the poor people. You do shukr. And this is regarding dunya. In deen, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, look at the people who are higher than you in level. Now, for instance, I read 5 times salat. In deen, I should look at those people or read the Sahabas and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who used to read tahajjud and other ibadat too. My goal should be getting higher in deen. In dunya, I should not look at the millionaires who got a few houses and all that. Not look at them. I should look at those people who are poor, that have got less wealth, and do shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever I got Allah. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had taught us. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullah alayhi, he's a muhaddith, he's a mujahid, he's a faqih, he's a Sufi, muzakki, everything. He has all the categories, he's a tabi. He says, Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullah says that in the beginning, he was wealthy from the beginning. When I used to hang around with the rich people, I used to feel low of myself. When you hang around with rich people, look at the high class classes, cars and all that, and you want to beat them, alright, you won't feel the comfort in your heart. You will be depressed all the time. ज़्यादा मालदार लोगों को देखे तो पागल हो जाओगे. Depressed. You say, oh, he's got all that, she's got all that, I haven't got nothing. The hasad comes, all the depression comes. He said, I had the same problem. But when I read the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in dunya wise, look at those people who are lower than you in level. In deen wise, look at those people who are higher than you in level. You will have the best sukoon and the best life in your peaceful life in your life. Peace in your heart. So that's how you gain peace. Do shukr on all the rizq. Why are we having a sustenance problem? Why are we having a rizq problem? How do we increase our rizq and all that? Inshallah next week. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah.
الله لا إله إلا هو